Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Disney and Pixar's Onward. So this is a donation rewards for Smurflogs. And I know I have other movie donation rewards. I decided to get to this one today because honestly, I need something a little lighter to react to. Because recently I started checking out the series Black Mirror because I've heard all these good things about it, obviously, and I like it, like it's well made, but at the same time, it's like it emotionally takes a lot out of you to watch because it's just so fucked up. Which I know is the point. So it's like it's doing its job well. It's hard to watch and it kind of brings down the mood quite a bit. So since I've been watching that a lot lately, I decided I wanted to today react to something a little more lighter. So it's like obviously no Harley Quinn today. Um, just something lighter. And I thought, this is on the list still. Let's get to this. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So as for this movie, I know very little about what it's like, what it entails, what's in it, all of that jazz. I know that it is I know the very basic plot is about these two. Are they trolls or something? There's some kind of mythical creature like that. The entire thing is like mythical creatures, but they accidentally resurrect like the lower half of their dead father's body and are like going on a journey to try and fix it. That's all I know about it pretty much, except like I've seen a couple like little small bits from trailers here and there. But the thing is, I was never really interested in this film, if I'm being honest. It never interested me. I saw like two trailers, I think, um, and I just was not for the life of me interested. I didn't care. Um, it doesn't look like a movie like Coco or Moana or Frozen or these other big Disney Pixar movies and all that really stuck with and resonate with me. It's like it seems dumb in a lot of ways. It just seems really dumb and unenjoyable, and a lot of the humor seemed really dumb, which I'm not a fan of dumb humor. You guys know I've talked about that in the past. And it's not like it looks altogether terrible, and it probably isn't. I'm going into this acknowledging that it's probably not terrible, and that it's probably just judging based on, very little information and all, like people tend to do, myself included, admittedly. Um, but it's still, that was kind of how I saw this from all the trailers and advertising and all. Like, I don't remember like the voice actors who are in this. I think one of the Chris's from the MCU are in it. I don't remember which one. But other than that, I have no clue. And I don't know otherwise. Um, I really don't know what to expect with it. One thing I do know is that there's apparently this like female cop character who's gay or something in it, and it's like just a really it's basically Disney Pixar's way of trying to include some LGBT inclusion without actually like giving real efforts, which is just all the ways they've done that. I mean, this, and then, of course, with that newer short film or whatever it is that came out about the gay man, the short film all about the gay man trying to come out to his parents and whatnot. But it's like they won't do an actual big movie where the main character is LGBT. No, it just won't happen. Um, but either way, that's not as important to the story and everything, I assume. So again, I've seen little clips here and there, and it just didn't look interesting to me. It looked like it was going to be a very weak one. Um, but I don't know I don't actually know what it's going to be like. I don't know for sure. This is all just based solely on my initial thoughts going into it from trailers and whatnot. Obviously, it could be great. There's a lot of movies I've gone into where I didn't think they were going to be good, and they ended up blowing me away. Frozen was a big one of those. Um, so it's very possible that this will be great. It's very possible that it will blow me away. And I hope it does. I hope it proves me wrong. I hope that with anything that I would go into like this. But it's impossible to say at this moment because I haven't even heard much of any like thoughts about this movie. It's like with other Disney Pixar movies when they come out, like I guess otherwise most recently would probably be Frozen 2. It's like you hear about them everywhere. Everyone's talking about their thoughts on them, whether good or bad. Or sometimes you just hear a lot of both. But you always hear people's thoughts. But for Onward, it's like it was just kind of nowhere. I heard maybe one or two people say something on it, and that's it. Like, I mean, literally, I could count on one hand the amount of things I saw people, or amount of times I saw people talking about it on social media. It just, I wouldn't say it flew under the radar because people knew about it, but it just, I guess it didn't leave an impact, and just no one felt like they wanted to take a time to go into it. I don't know. I can't say. Again, I haven't seen it. I don't know. Um, but yeah, as with anything, it's like I'm always willing to react to whatever you guys want me to react to for these donation rewards. Movies are always the best option because it's like obviously I can't drop them, but but it's like it gives me a chance to see things that I either otherwise wouldn't have, or movies that I just keep putting off. Shawshank Redemption was a great example of that. A movie that I've wanted to see for a long time, just kept putting off and just never got around to. So it's like, hey, again, this movie might end up being fantastic. It might end up being one of my new favorite Disney Pixar films. I don't know. And again, I'm not going to go into this just assuming it's going to be terrible. Um, I'm going to let my preconceived notions based on trailers and stuff rest and go into this just hoping for the best. And just hoping that it impresses me and that I enjoy it. At least enjoy it. Because that is the one essential thing that every movie needs to do. It needs to be enjoyable. It needs to entertain the viewer. If it can't do even that much, even if otherwise it's bad, if it can't do that much, then it fails as a movie. Or any piece of media, really. Same goes for TV shows, music, video games. So yeah. Yeah. Either way, we are going to get this started. We are going to get into this and, like I said, hope for the best. Um, and, I mean, either way, this should be something lighter and more nicer to watch than Black Mirror. So, either way, it won't be as heavy for me, which is what I want right now. So, that being said, let's just get this started. Um, When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I was going throughout this entire movie thinking that was Seth Rogen, but that was... I feel like a massive idiot. I thought I heard that one of the Chris's from the MCU was in this. I did think I heard that, but I don't know. He sounded like Seth Rogen. I swear he did. Maybe they just have similar sounding voices sometimes, or maybe just the way he was doing the performance made it sound like that. I can hear now that Ian is Tom Holland. Like I get that. I would not have thought the mother was Julia Louis-Dreyfus though. Like I don't know. It just didn't cross my mind. But anyways, so yeah, as I was saying in my pre-thoughts, I was worried going into this movie because judging based on the trailers and everything and just the concept of the movie and all, I was not thinking I was going to like this. One of the big reasons I think I forgot to mention in the pre-thoughts was because of the concept of, fantasy being brought into modern day. Because for me, fantasy works so well because it's not modern, because it is medieval, because it's different. It sells the fantasy. So one of the biggest worries I had with that was that this was going to make it feel less whimsical, magical, exciting. And it did to a point. But I enjoyed it enough. This movie was not on the level of other Disney Pixar stuff like Frozen 1 or 2. It wasn't on the level of Moana or that kind of stuff, Coco. It was good, though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the performances. I love the mom and the Manticore characters. They're seriously the best part of this movie. And the story and message in the end were enjoyable and nice enough. There was a lot of predictability with this, though. There is a lot of predictability. Pretty early on, when they first had brought him back, I kind of figured that I was thinking that they're not going to end up meeting him by the end, and that by the end they're going to just realize that they've had each other. And I was kind of right. I mean, we had Ian never meeting him, but then we had the entire thing with Barley saying he never got his goodbye, and then at that point it's like, okay, at least Barley's going to meet him again. And he did, and he got his goodbye. And on top of that, it was super predictable that things would go wrong, that they would argue and fight and eventually make up. It's like, it used a lot of tropes. It really did. And sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's done terribly. Here, it's just kind of okay. It's nothing special. It doesn't handle them as well as like shows like JoJo does, obviously. It does what it needs to do, and it's enjoyable. It's fun. It's likable. It has heart. It has just a lot to it. But it's not amazing. It's not standout. I wouldn't say it's bad. By no means is it bad. By no means I would even call it like really weak, notably weak or anything. It's a good movie. It's just it did kind of it surpassed my expectations, but not as much as I would have wanted. Let's put it that way. Maybe I did have a little too much hope based on other movies. Again, Coco, Moana, Frozen, yada yada. But it's like, I don't know, it's just, it felt basic. It felt simple. It felt like it wasn't taking any risks. That's the big thing about it. It just felt safe. Which for a movie with with this material, with focusing so heavily on medieval fantasy creatures and dealing with all of this kind of high adventure action D&D type shit, just to put it simply. It's like you would expect them to take more risks. You would expect them to go in directions that you really wouldn't see coming. And again, the only real thing that this movie did in regards to that, for me at least, was the mother and Cori. They were the only, their plot line was the only part of this movie that really felt to take risks. Because in a lot of movies like this, the mother character is usually stuck at home worrying about them. Even if the mother character is sassy or funny or really likable, kind of doesn't take shit from anyone, like Hero's aunt in Big Hero 6 is a good example of that. Even if it's a character like that, they're not active in the story. They're a supporting cast member to kind of give that familial structure to the main hero. And on top of it, they don't actually take part in the action themselves. So seeing the mother actually go on this as well and be chasing down her sons the entire movie, teaming up with a manticore who's kind of just got her spark back, basically, and getting into some wild adventure action-y shit too. Like, that was the best part of this movie, because that is the only part that really defied expectation. That is the only part that took risks and did something new that felt fresh and exciting. And I mean, it really felt like something special, and it's almost kind of sad. I wish the movie was about them, because I was more invested in that than I was in the brothers. And again, it's nothing negative about the brothers' story and everything, because I thought it was fine. It was good. It was sweet. It was nice. But that's all it was. Again, it was safe. It didn't excite me that much, because it's like you kind of knew how it was going to go. But with the mother and Cori story, it's like you didn't. It was new territory. It was exciting. It was refreshing. And I appreciated it. So I kind of almost have that desire, like, to have seen a movie rather about them. Like a spin-off centering around them would be fantastic. Because it's made clear at the end that they're still adventuring and having fun together. They've basically become best friends. And again, there's definitely people who are going to ship them. Even though, even at the end, she's still with Colt, the mother. There's still people who are going to ship her with Cori, because that's just how people are. But yeah, it's like, so that's still going on. So it's like there very well is material for a spinoff here. I don't think it's going to happen, but there could be a spinoff. And yeah, the ending with the return of the father, and basically Ian just seeing it from afar and us seeing it from afar and everything. It's like, I was waiting for it to kind of like show it from Barley's perspective and actually get to see and hear the father talk and stuff. All we heard was a laugh. Like, that was it. Everything else was like, it was too far away to hear. Again, I get what they were going for there. It was obvious what they were going for there, but it felt very disappointing at the same time. And not just because it was super obvious it was going to go like that, but it felt disappointing because it's like we as viewers were waiting for that moment when he came back. We as viewers were that was what the payoff for the buildup was going to be. All of this adventure was about that. And again, I get the message, but in the end, when we don't even get to have any payoff for that, it's kind of disappointing. We don't get any kind of like catharsis there. It's just like we see Ian kind of looking on and everything, and we then see that the dad disappear in the distance, and Barley relays the message and all. And that's it. That's not a payoff. That's weak. It felt weak. And again, I get the message. I'm gonna hammer that in. I get the message that in the end, Ian found his family was with him the entire time. It was his brother, that all this stuff he had wanted to do with his father, he had been able to do. But at the same time, it's like, we wanted something, you know? Even if we just got to see Barley talking to his father, like, close up and everything, and hear them talking. That would have been enough, but instead, it just, I don't know, it just felt like a waste. But there was a lot that I liked. Despite everything that I'm saying negative, there was a lot I liked. I liked the characters. They were very enjoyable, likable characters. Barley and Ian had great chemistry together. Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, obviously, they've worked together in the MCU. They worked really well together here. It worked. They did a great job in their voice acting. And they made the characters believably feel like brothers. The mom, like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, is a fantastic actress. Like her time as Elaine Bennett in Seinfeld, she's in Christmas Vacation, one of the most beloved Christmas films of all time. She's a great actress. I did not even realize that was her, but she did fantastic. She made this mother character awesome. And again, easily like one of the best characters in this film. Octavia Spencer obviously did great, but Octavia Spencer. And so on and so forth. The voice actors did great and made these characters really likable. There were a lot of kind of funny jokes. The unicorns being feral and everything was kind of funny. The pixies, like, not even realizing they could fly and then just loving it afterwards, that's funny. It's just, there was a lot to like. Just the entire scene with Cori, like, kind of coming out of her shell and finding her spark again after kind of losing it for all that time and kind of just destroying her restaurant and shit. That was funny. There was a lot of really funny, good moments in this. There was a lot of heartfelt moments in this. And again, it was good. It just wasn't anything special. When people think of Disney Pixar, that's what they think of. They think of something special. And I think that's why I have not seen anyone talking about this movie on social media. When it first came out to now, it's like it's just, I haven't seen people talking about it. And it's like, I think that's why. It was so safe, so simple that no one just had any real strong feelings on it. It was good, but it just didn't do much. it's not that it's not memorable. It's that it's not memorable enough to really leave a hugely lasting impression, I feel. Not compared to a lot of these other ones. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot that it has actually that it did that was actually better than some of these other ones. Compare it to Frozen. Frozen has Olaf. Olaf is terrible. Olaf is the one thing about the Frozen movies that is just outright terrible because he's blatantly a comic relief character for the kids that could be taken out of the film and not really impact it in any way, in any real way. This movie didn't need that kind of thing. This movie didn't have a goofy sidekick character for the kids. It let the comedy come from these characters who had a lot more depth to them in general. They could have easily done that with the other characters in Frozen. It just, it was good. And I'm glad I saw it, because I probably would have never seen it if not for Smurf, if not for you choosing to have it as a donation board. I probably would have never seen this otherwise. And I'm glad that I got to, because again, it was much better than I thought it was going to be. It defied my expectations by far. But I just wish it was better than it actually was still. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. Yeah, not really much else to say about it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. So tell me in the comments below what you thought of Onward. What did you think of the characters? What do you think about the comparison between the brother story and the story of the mother and Cori? What do you think of the voice acting and everything? Tell me your thoughts on all that and more down in the comments below. And for now, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you to Smurf Vlogs for donating and choosing this as the reward. So for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.